Hello, good evening, and welcome to Talk New York. Today we have an interesting show for you. It's what I call Girl Talk. We're going to talk gossip, name it. I have two women here to help me out. I have Ann Alford and Magdalene Friedman. Okay, first thing, let's talk about Clinton and this Lewinsky thing. I can't even say her name. But this is her picture now in Newsweek. I think sometimes they just go in and get the worst possible picture they can find of these women and bring it in there to just make a point. But, I mean, what do you think about the whole story?
I think that there was a bit too much time put in, too much focus on this whole issue. It boils down to the fact that I think it was a political thing with his enemies who want to bring him down, and I think it's a private issue that should be dealt with between himself and his wife.
Magdalene?
Well, what can I say? It's just like what is being said in the media, and we all know so many young kids are now against it because they think it doesn't portray like a good example for young boys or teenagers growing up. So something has to be done. So we're leaving it with the Congress. What do you think?
Well, I mean, it's an interesting thing because I have a different spin on it. Yes, it's true. It's between him and his wife, and I actually tied when they started. I actually believed that it was not true, and my mother didn't believe it was true. I voted for Clinton in the '92. I went on Donahue and even supported him when Jennifer Flowers came out, and I said, you know, these women better shut up. It doesn't matter. There are people sleeping on heating vents in New York. There are homeless people. If he can do something about it, I'm all for that. But then I was shocked. I was sitting there eating my dinner, and this guy comes on and says, I had an improper relationship. I said, my mom is standing in her grave. Wouldn't he continue lying? You know, I could have dealt with that.
Well,
I mean, what did you think about that?
I thought that was sad. I mean, I was disappointed in that. And especially he deceived his wife, his family, his fans, his, support, we who support him. I mean, that was a sad situation, though. It's pathetic.
It is extremely
It was really pathetic. And I agree that what he did, his actions were, immoral, for lack of a better word, and possibly has tainted his image. But I think we should go on, focus on what he's doing for positive for the country. And, he has to deal with that. He has to live with this.
I don't think he's the only one that has to deal with it. The entire nation. I used to see Clinton when he goes out on trips, how he speaks with more confidence. And the latter one we saw of him, the picture that they had on television recently with the minister from Ireland.
Right, yeah, yesterday he was in Ireland.
And you see the way he was standing, like a young boy waiting to be arraigned.
He actually said he apologizes for, which is the word he hasn't used. But look at the guy. He looks so beaten down, I should say. He looks so miserable.
It's pathetic.
And in many ways, I am actually embarrassed for him.
Right.
Poor Hillary. I mean, it's one thing for him to have just lied his way through. But that woman actually went on the air in January and said, this is a political thing. My husband would never do that. And then he comes on television and say, I had an improper relationship. A lot of women are saying that this is another form of abuse that she's been taking, that in a sense, most people see her as this powerful person, but she is allowing this to happen. Does this take anything from her, do you think?
Hillary's image? That's a tough question. I mean,
should she be responsible for her husband's indiscretion?
But my understanding is this is not the first time indiscretion that he has committed, She has been married to this man. She has known him for a very long time. I think she cannot be that naive. Do you know what I'm saying? I think she was trying to just do the most honorable thing for herself and for him in this position that he's in as president of the greatest country in the world. I think that's what she was trying to do. I cannot believe she was that naive. I don't see her being a weak person, you know.
But a lot of people are attacking her, saying, you know, he probably not getting something at home.
He has
so
an active libido.
so he, you know, as a matter of fact, I think one show actually came out and said, you know, it's not Clinton's fault if wives don't do blowjobs.
Yeah.
I thought that was just, you know,
low.
just
I mean,
too
that's got
much.
nothing.
What I can, what I can add. Oh, you telling me now what the fuck? No, what I can add to this is that sometimes the women do have a role to play as not only as housewives,
Right.
but they have to also act like first lady of the country. And she may not be able to show her emotions, but she will. Like you were saying, maybe they do have little push back in the bedroom.
Well, that's what
Maybe
it says in the Newsweek. It says that people hear loud arguments coming from their quarters. How true that is, you know, who knows? But you know, I think that he has done something bad, and as a woman, I'm offended when somebody says your boyfriend cheated because you don't give him what he wants.
Some women even lie, right,
Most
for
of
their
these
men.
you know, are. A lot of women say they are dogs. You put the food in a nice, clean plate. They don't eat it. They go right into the garbage. Not to say that Monica's garbage, but you know, I mean, it doesn't speak well of her for when people say things like that. And now it's like they're making jokes of her. If you didn't know, then you are really stupid. Is it fair?
Okay. As a woman, I think Hillary is bearing the emotions for the entire country, and at the same time, she's playing the role of housewife, and it's not fair to her though, but she has to deal with it because we can say back in orientation as a nurturing mother, she's been used to taking care of problems, and we're always problem solvers. So I think she can handle this situation, you know, beautifully, and she's there to give the husband the support that he needs. And so we're crying to the entire world to say, I'm an African and I'm here, and I know President Clinton has been doing a good job for Africans out there. So we want to talk to the entire New York City to say, or the entire United States to say, let's move on, and we love the man, we love the work that he is doing. He has made a mistake and he has apologized for it. But people keep saying, he said, I'm sorry, or he said, I have apologized, I don't think there is any more I can say. People say he needs to say some more, but I don't think it's fair anymore to the government, to the state, to refugees and immigrants who are here. We don't think it's fair.
Okay. Talking about immigrants and Africans and whatnot, the recent bombing in Kenya and Tanzania. And Newsweek has a cartoon here that, in a sense, is trying to talk about the money spent on this sex issue, because the bottom line, this is about sex. And they have this cartoon here. I hope they're able to get that shot, but it's right up here. Supposedly this is Clinton right there. Supposedly this is Clinton. I'm trying to see if they can get it. But supposedly this is Clinton out there, and they're saying sex approved and embassy security is denied. And so far they said they spent over $40 million doing this. Is this how we should spend our tax money?
That's one of the things that I said at the beginning, what I meant. Too much focus, which encompasses the amount of money. You know, with these defense costs. I mean, it's ridiculous when you have other things that, you know, are much more important and should be.
Like here mentioned, as we talk about the African thing, we have more children dying in Somalia and the rest of the world. And we think we need more money that we can pour into these third world countries or the countries that are disadvantaged, so that these people can enhance their lives and will reduce the influx of immigrants coming into the country. America itself has assumed responsibilities for different world powers or different nations back there, and we think that this is a waste of their money, and we need the money, and we will be able to do trade work with the United States so that Africans, or let's say the whole of the immigrant population, would not put burden on the American government, but do it as an exchange rate where tourists can come and, you know, invest in the country's economy instead of taking away from there. So America should move on.
Well, moving on doesn't necessarily solve all his problems. There's another lady who actually started this thing, and I'm trying to find all these things in this Newsweek stuff, and they're talking about, what's it, Paula Jones.
Paula Jones, right.
And the pictures here showing her from the so-called trailer park trash person to the now sophisticated person with the nose job.
Now she's a much more
much more sophisticated person with the nose job, and you know, every teeth done and everything. And you know, so this is not going to go away. When Lewinsky ends, she's going to come in. There will be another person, hopefully. I shouldn't say hopefully, but supposedly. As a woman, can you love a man like this? Can you really love and respect a man like this?
Who supposedly or has admittedly cheated on me again and again.
Again and again.
Maybe, you know, it depends. There are a lot of issues. I mean, you don't know what a person's going. I'm not trying to excuse infidelity, but if it's maybe, say, one time and you don't know what the circumstances are, maybe you're going through a stressful period in your relationship, or maybe he's going through a stressful period and he's not able to share that.
There seems to be a cycle of a stressful period.
There are stressful people. I said I'm not excusing this behavior, but I mean, there are reasons. I mean, let's face it, nothing is black or white. There's always that gray area.
Right.
I mean, now if you keep on doing it, then there's a problem. You know, I mean,
what do you think?
There's some women who love the drama. They love
drama.
the drama in the relationship. And
so what do you gain from this drama?
From the drama.
At the end of the day, you get a new car, and then you are happy, and then he goes on his knees and begs you, and
some women love the drama, being that okay, when I came here, I found out, first I know the institution of marriage says a woman and a man, right? But sometimes they said, it's about time yes, it's America, a woman can tell the man, it's about time, you can go out and date. I think it's about time we see other people.
No, I was talking about including the whole segment. You said institution of marriage a man and a woman. Not necessarily. There's a woman and a woman and a man and a man and a man
and whatever and whatever. We have to get
this is, what do they say? Don't ask and don't tell, but now it's been public. But I can't criticize it because that is what people choose to do. But what I can say is the drama, going back to the drama thing about if a man cheats, if you should go back with the man. I'm not going to be for the man now, but sometimes we women make poor choices or poor decisions where you have a professional man and he cheats on you one time or twice, or and then you said, I don't want to deal with it anymore, I'm moving ahead, and then you stay by yourself for a year or 2 years, and then you decide to go out again and start dating, and then where do you find yourself? No, you go to the universities and start dealing with these young boys of 25 years old, you know. And this is how, how Stella got her groove back. But then would you date a younger man? Let me think.
Would you date a younger? Because one of the issues with this claim stuff is that a lot of people are talking about older men and younger women, and that is good for men, but when women do it, you know, it's not.
There's a taboo.
Right, there's a taboo there. Yeah. Would you date a younger man?
I'm thinking.
You think fast. Would you date a younger man?
Okay, you know what? I'm just going to bypass that question and then say that so it's not nice for the men to behave that way.
And would you date a younger man?
I would consider dating a younger man within limits. I mean, I would not certainly someone half my age or whatever. Some 5, 6 years. I mean, it depends. Again, there are other issues. If a person's very mature, you can click and relate to each other. You can put aside the age. But I think, as I said, no. To a certain extent. I mean, this is my feeling.
What about an older man?
Would I date an older man?
Yeah, somebody half your, more than half additional, whatever.
Half the age.
Right.
You mean someone like
20 years older than me? Right.
Those ones are full of experience.
Not necessarily.
Not necessarily. They give you the pampering that you need.
Is that true? That's what a lot of women say. They
Well,
say,
I guess they're at that point. I would date an older man. I don't know.
Would you let a 20-year-old date a 40-year-old man?
Well, I have two daughters. One happens to be 20 and one is 23. And I personally feel this way about that. I would not want either of my daughters at this stage in their lives to go out and say, for example, my older daughter who's 23, I wouldn't particularly be happy about her dating someone who's 40 and she's just 23 and has not really lived, I think, or had the kind of experience of a 40-year-old man who's been out there possibly married or been through several relationships, has children. I just think, why should she burden herself at this point in her life? Go out, if she's 30, in her 30s, and she's dating someone who's 50, I could deal with that better because she's been out there. She's had time to go out. That's my feeling.
Oh, so which means you prefer the girl to have lust and love and lust than to actually find somebody who will actually take good care of her.
Who said anything about love?
No, because
we're talking about dating.
Dating.
Okay.
Dating is not love.
Not necessarily.
Or people date because I know people date because sometimes we find ourselves lonely at times and we date. But I think we have to view dating as attach it to some kind of holistic approach, whereby holistic approach.
I think of health when I think of holistic.
Okay, yes. Well, whatever the thing is, we can add. No, we can have. Yeah, the holistic approach can mean I can jam it a little bit of spirituality, but not religion now. That we prepare ourselves to fall in love or to even the nucleus or the core of any dating process is ending up in a marriage relationship. And when you start courting each other and then eventually you have a date, the peak of that relationship is when one person gets down on the knee and say, would you be my wife? And that is where it ends. But then throughout that process is, like you said, being the right person yourself in order for you to find the right person or the right...
Should all relationships end in marriage?
That's what I'm saying.
Should all relationships end in marriage?
Yes, I think it should.
Well, let me tell you something.
Morally,
statistics says that there are more women than there are men out there. So even if we're going one-to-one correlation, there are going to be some sisters who are going to be left out.
Right.
What are you saying that for them?
No, because more of the brothers are now in prison because the system created the situation where young boys find themselves being incarcerated at the age of 16. And once these boys go in prison, when they come back out, they cannot find or adjust their lives, and they end up doing more violent crimes so that they can go somewhere where they are secured. So I think the government itself has to do something about this.
There are a lot of people incarcerated who are still maintaining their relationships.
Right. No.
There are people who visit.
No.
I
know they do visit, but these girls out here are being seen as single women, and these people have to deal with their emotions and the emotional scars. When you separate lovers, that they have to deal with the healing process, I don't think anybody can thoroughly mend. We can say it is that it is virtually impossible for someone to say, I'm not going out there and dating anymore, but you have to, like you said, we have to sit and think, what am I going to date for? Or what am I going to get out of this dating process? Some people do it because they find themselves lonely. Other people do it because of economic thing. I want to do it in a way that I will have to find myself, that I am happy, and I want the ultimate thing, which is like marriage. Because I believe that's the only way someone can be actually happy. And this is why we have the high divorce rates, because people do not know why they get into relationships anymore, because we have all these ulterior motives. You understand? If only all these philosophers and lecturers and professors out there who go and conduct studies and surveys on marriage and this and that. All they need to do is to just pour in more morals into the society and have people choose, and young boys and teenagers out there who decides to fall in love tomorrow, like your baby, you understand? They have to know what they actually want in a relationship before they just go out there and follow the
Isn't
social...
life too short for you to make it this complicated?
I know. I'm thinking.
No, I
think
still
that every
disagree.
dating, I don't think that marriage is for everyone.
It is.
And I don't. You think so?
I think so, because the social network
I think it's
dating
a
has...
cultural thing. With,
No,
with the African
maybe-
culture,
maybe
marriage
maybe
is the way a woman validates
Her.
herself. Like you know, you have a
Maybe that's
husband.
it.
This is my husband, so I am somebody. If you don't have a husband and at a
Then you're
certain
not.
age,
Okay,
it means
then
that you are a loser. So you have to have
No,
that
it's a
husband.
lie, and I'm not
But-
going to let anybody tell me that if you don't know. Okay, I'm not pointing my a finger to myself now, but this is a beautiful world out there that we all have to celebrate life, and nobody can terminate my life emotionally, like how other people will view it. That you have to
But you know
get
that
involved
when
in a relationship.
you get married with someone, you have two independent, different emotions there, and you cannot choose. If that person chooses not to be married to you, there's nothing you can do about it. You know that.
Okay. No, but that is the other thing.
Right.
It's because people who's, if we talk about divorce and separation, what causes it? Sometimes the people are not thinking. When your emotions outweigh your thinking, you just move out of a relationship without thinking what is the cause. And another thing is when two people come together, they both bring out their baggages. And I believe morally they should put everything together in the living room. I'm talking now, not
I know what
literally,
you're
yeah.
saying, right.
And say, this is my baggage, this is what I come in it with, this is what I,
Accept
yes,
me
and you
or you
accept me
find-
for who I am, but not wait until after a year or two or maybe 5-10 years down the line, and this person decides to pack their bags and walk out. And these
And you've
people
been
have to
married
deal with
before.
the
Do you agree with
emotional
what she
scars.
said?
It's not good.
I've been for over 25 years, and I mean, there was a lot of commitment in that marriage. We have two beautiful daughters. I mean, we still correspond, you know. I decided that, you know, when you start off in a relationship or marriage, you know, you want to grow and continually grow together. I mean, you have to first of all grow as individuals, and then you have to try to, you know, make a happy medium between the two personalities. Now, what happened in my case, and what happens oftentimes, people grow apart. They just grow apart, and that's not a moral issue.
So you didn't
That's
grow
not-
together in the beginning? You grew together in the beginning and then blossom each other?
When you start in the beginning, you really don't really grow because you're just starting. When you just grow, you're just starting it, you know, and you either grow together or you grow apart.
What makes you grow? What makes the marriage couples grow apart when that is the time the relationship should be a little bit matured? That's the
what
time they
but
should
we're
assume their
dealing with two
responsibility.
different- you know, as I said before, you're dealing with two different personalities. I am certainly not the same person that I was when I got married. You know, I have grown up in a lot of ways in terms of my own confidence level as a person, as a woman, as a minority, dealing in this society. My husband, you know, has, you know, developed or not developed in a way that I felt we were compatible. You know, we were no longer being compatible. And that's just a matter of the growth process, and I can't stress that enough.
No, but there are
And it's
people,
not a
there are
woman,
marriages
it's
here that last for 50 years.
Oh, yes, of course.
You
And for
understand?
them, I mean, my own parents were married for 45 years until my mother's unfortunate death, and I think, you know, she is alive. My grandparents were married for 62 years. But what I saw growing up in these marriages was that there was really a give and take there, and the growth was together. People accepted their roles and they played that role. Did that mean they were happy? I don't know. I most certainly don't think so. I think the more advanced we become, the more demanding the women in the new society become, because we realize that
We don't
Marriage
have
is
to.
not about coming home, cooking dinner, and
Exactly.
opening your legs for somebody to climb
To
on
do
top
that,
of you.
right,
That you
right.
also have a need as a
Right,
person,
exactly.
and sometimes it's not satisfied.
Right.
So those things need to be addressed. So when you say growing together and growing apart, it could be the fact that one person is not able to adjust to the fact that there's a need for another person to also
Right.
be happy.
Yeah, you know,
Well,
we're
it is
compatible,
preparing
we need
yourself
each other's-
in the beginning. This is what I
But-
keep saying. The beginning has everything. The beginning, before you decide to go into a relationship, it's a matter of commitment. There is no reason why he has no moral right or she has no moral authority to just pack up and leave, because you have something to deal with. Those emotional scars will never allow you to go out and date a man and view him the same way you used to do. But that doesn't mean we can't let go. We do let go. In my case, I did, and I'm trying to still heal. But you know how people perceive the thing, that it's whatever, but that's not the way it is. It's just that sometimes you view life, like you said, differently. You become a little bit matured, and you decide to wait for a certain time when you can get into it again with wholeheartedness, and you make sure that you are the right person this time in order to attract the right person. And trust me, the next person is not going to walk out and leave. There will be a bar by the door.
Oh, and that's how you think you can keep a person. That is how you
I know you're
can keep a
joking.
person.
You've got to be joking.
That person is an individual. I think that the mistake that most marriages make, and I have never been married, so you guys got more on me than whatever it is. But even in relationship, what I realize is that people want you to live your life through them.
Right,
You know,
exactly.
I don't hang out with my friends or talk over the phone with my friends, so you shouldn't do the same. And if you do the same, then you are violating the relationship. And what I've been reading a lot of relationship books, Dr. John Gray, the one who wrote about men are from Mars, women are from Venus.
Right.
I don't agree with everything he says, but I do agree with some of the things, some of the points that he makes, that we are our own individual beings. And when we get together as two separate entities. When we are together, we are one. But at the same time, we have our own separate lives. I don't see myself seeing my boyfriend 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. One of us will have to go down through the window or something. So, what you're saying is beautiful if it exists. But the point is that let's face reality. The way society is right now, it doesn't work out that way.
No, I can make it work. It has to work because that is how it was made to be.
Let me say one thing. I do believe in the institution of marriage. I'm very supportive of it. I think it's a beautiful institution.
Right.
And yes, you have some beautiful marriages, but
Okay.
you don't want to put it
she
like
said it's
make it.
All right, we have run out of time. This was an interesting conversation, and we will do it again some other time. Thank you, Magdalene. Thanks, and this is Yaa Ajimayo Kwampa. Thanks for watching the show, and good night.
Good night.
I wanted to say when people come together, they should